Welcome to the MakerSpace at Swarthmore College. My name is Jackie and I'm the MakerSpace manager. We're here with Jocelyn, who is one of my student technicians, and she's going to tell us all about her academic pursuits and interests and her experiences in the MakerSpace. So, hi Jocelyn, welcome and thank you for being here.
Hi, thanks. Yeah.
Can you start by telling me about your major or other majors or minors or clubs that you're involved with?
Yeah, so I'm doing an honors art major and I'm having my minor in classics. So yeah, those two things, which should be cool. I'm going to try and like combine some of my knowledge and whatnot from classics into the art that I make. A lot of art majors choose one medium to work in for their senior show, but my plan is to do multimedia. So I'm hopefully going to be doing painting and ceramics and creating like spaces within that. And I'm a sophomore, so I don't really exactly know what exactly I'm going to do yet, but that's my plan for right now. It'll probably change a little bit, but
yeah, that's great. So you're already thinking way ahead.
yeah, so like when I did.
I was just going to say classics, that's classic literature?
No, that's classics like ancient history, Latin, Greek, that sort of thing.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so when I like said I wanted to do multimedia, Sid Carpenter told me that I should have some sort of plan going forward because it's harder to do multimedia for your show. So I started looking at things like ancient shrines and altars. So like larariums are like an altar in Roman homes that were to the family spirits. So I'm looking at like that sort of stuff to try and create like spaces inspired by that use like both physical objects and decoration and painting. That's kind of where I'm going right now.
That sounds like a really interesting direction. And when did you start working as a MakerSpace technician, and what made you want to work in the MakerSpace?
I started working this past semester. I wanted to work in the MakerSpace because I always like wanted to spend more time in the MakerSpace when I wasn't working there, and I like just didn't really have time in my schedule, and I wanted a job. So I was like, this is the perfect thing for me. I want to make more stuff. I want to learn how to use the materials and see what other people are making and be more involved in the space. And I could use a job, so it was perfect. It was a good opportunity.
So you kind of wanted to be in a space that gave you a little bit of osmosis of kind of learning a variety of different things.
Yeah, I wanted to like learn. I want to learn how to like construct things better. I wanted to see what other people were doing artistically, and I didn't have any knowledge of how to use things like 3D printers very well, or I wasn't trained in a wood shop, so I wanted to have all that like under my belt so that I could like incorporate it into my art and into what I do.
All right. And what have you used the MakerSpace for, either personally or academically?
I primarily used it for laser engraving things and creating wood pieces. So I've done a lot of drawing and then laser engraving it, or making like boxes and stuff on the laser cutter, and then doing things like staining them. I haven't done that much 3D printing or anything else. I've mainly used it for decorative purposes, not for like constructing things at this point. But I want to learn how to construct things so I can make like more sculptural pieces and not just things that are like more wall hangings, which is what I've been doing in the past.
So taking kind of things out from just being an image into the physical space.
Yeah, so I've like taken drawings that I've made and I've converted them in Illustrator and engraved them, and then I've done things where I've like, yeah, written things or drawn other things and then put them onto the plans for boxes, that sort of stuff, and then laser cut, engraved, and then actually assembled the box so that I'd have my art on something physical.
Wow. All right. And can you, I mean, you talked a little bit about this, but can you name Either one or two things that you've either learned or sort of had a takeaway from the MakerSpace since you've started there?
Hmm. I guess things I've learned beyond the technical stuff, it's really interesting to see like how much you can make when you just really kind of like think outside of just making like one two-dimensional object or something. I really love Oliver's sculptures. Those are like really inspiring to me because it's so cool. Like you wouldn't expect like that you could, at least I wouldn't expect when I first started working that you could make that with the laser engraver and just like that sort of thing. So it's really cool to see how people actually construct things and make assemblages. Yeah, that's really cool.
That's a really good takeaway. Thank you.
Yeah.
And then can you think of a time where you've helped someone else in the makerspace and it was a good experience for you?
Yeah, so actually I had a girl come in one day and I think she said that one of her friends, I don't remember exactly what it was maybe one of her friends or a class or something had mentioned the makerspace, and she was like, I'm a senior, I've known this was here the whole time, but I've never actually come to use it. And she wanted to make little earrings that she had drawn herself. And so I helped her put the design into Illustrator and make some wood earrings on the laser engraver. And she was just really happy about it. And it was really nice to show her and be like, yeah, this is like really easy. You can like come here and do it whenever you want. Like, yeah, you have the freedom to make this stuff if you want to. And it's a resource that we have. So that was really cool because she was really happy and I was happy because she was happy about it.
That's great. Yeah, and that's a nice little takeaway because it's portable and also wearable art. So, and my next question is, what have you been doing to keep yourself occupied during our COVID-19 quarantine?
Yeah, so I've been doing a lot of drawing and sketching as well as some knitting and crocheting. Um, yeah, I've just been trying to like make things. It's hard to like to make things when you don't have a space in it, and I don't
Right.
have a studio space really at home or anything like that. So I've just been trying to keep sketching and keep drawing and making like little things most days. So that's been my main trying to keep busy is just to keep creating something. I really wish I could be gardening right now. I've been going outside a lot for like walks around the neighborhood, but we can't go get plants. And so I'm staring at my garden going, no, I want to plant my
Yeah.
herbs this year and I can't do it.
Yeah, that's a sad part.
Yeah.
Yeah, what you said about not having a space like a studio or something like that, it's something that a lot of artists tend to deal with throughout their lives.
Yeah.
Or just circumstances kind of keep them from working in the medium that they're used to. So the fact that you're doing sort of smaller portable things is a really great adaptation to continue being creative. And I
Yeah.
remember I had a friend who was an oil painter and she ended up getting pregnant and having a baby. And so she didn't want to be around the toxic oil paints while she was raising the baby. And so she started embroidering. And that was something that she could throw in her bag and pull out whenever she had time to be creative. And
Yeah,
some
that's what's
really
really
great work evolved out
that's
of
really
that.
nice about like knitting and crocheting and everything. It's still like you get to like be making something that's very portable. And yeah, it's interesting too because we've had I was in a painting class before the quarantine started, and so we've had to like shift all of our assignments, and so we've had assignments on making things with found materials in our house, which has been very interesting. Trying to make like assemblages or collages out of just things that you have around because a lot of people don't have any paints or anything anymore. So that's been challenging but fun.
Yeah, that sounds fun. Um, and my next question, what are some maker related topics or skills that you would like to learn more or expand on?
Yeah, like I said earlier, I really want to learn like the engineering of constructing things. So I think one thing that's holding me back right now is I don't really have much basis for how to make, if I'm trying to make three-dimensional objects, how to make stable three-dimensional constructions. So I
Mm-hmm.
think that's one of the things that I want to learn more about, just actually physically making things out of wood and other materials that will stand on their own. I've had people come and ask me, like, how do you make a shelf? And I'm like, you know,
Yeah.
I kind of know. Like, I know, like, I can think of a shelf and I can think of like how it has like supports to like hold it up from the wall and that sort of thing, but I wouldn't actually know the technical how much you need to like bear a certain amount of weight, that sort of thing. And so that's the sort of thing that I want to learn more about so that I have the ability to construct things better.
And that's a very valid, pursuit for, especially for someone that's wants to get into sculpture, and have things that might carry some weight or might be leaning or wrestling with gravity in some way. So, so yeah, I hope you get the chance to pursue that more.
Yeah.
And last question is, what is your favorite thing you've ever made, or one of the favorite things you've ever made?
Um, so yeah, I thought about this a lot. I really can't think of a favorite. I can think of a few like things that were very important for me, I think, as an artist to have made. Um, when I came into college, I had only ever worked in acrylic before. And so coming into the painting class and working with oil, it was very different. And I tried to just use the same techniques I've been using with acrylic. It just was not working well. And my professor gave us a challenge of doing paintings that were very planar and only involved like the major shapes. So simplifying it down, and there were a bunch of lemons that we had to paint. And when he gave us that assignment, I was like, this is going to be really bad. And then it ended up being something that I really loved doing. And it's really influenced how I've managed to make stuff afterwards. So a lot of my other paintings afterwards have had a lot more of like breaking things down into planes. And I think it really helped me think about how to paint and how to look. Another favorite thing is my first tea set that I made in ceramics. Um, First of all, it looks really pretty. It's not very functional, sadly. It taught me a lot about how to construct a good teapot because I didn't do things like I didn't cut the spout the right angle, and so it like drips and it pours. And it's just got like a few things where I'm like, oh, okay, so now that I've made a teapot and a tea set, the next time that I make one, I will know not to do this to the spout because it doesn't work on like a technical level, even though it looks kind of cool. So that like I'm pretty happy with that too.
Yeah, that's a really great point, and you're not the first person that talked about a project that was a learning experience for them, and didn't even necessarily produce the ideal result for that project, but it was a really enriching experience because it was, getting through the process and learning what next steps you can do to
Yeah.
go further and develop it more. And so that concludes my questions. Are there anything else that you wanted to share with the Swarthmore community, or share about the MakerSpace or about yourself?
Hmm. Let's see. No, I don't really. Hmm. Yeah, no, I can't really think
Okay.
of much of anything. I do have clubs and stuff that I do, but they're not. Yeah.
You said
Hmm.
you have clubs that you do?
Yeah, I do. I'm on the Cacao board, so we host student art galleries, student art shows, and then we also do like craft nights and stuff. So we'll have like a night where you come and we give you embroidery supplies and you learn how to embroider, or we have like communal painting canvases, that sort of stuff. And that's really fun. It's a really good resource for anyone who's trying to show their art on campus and who's not an art major. You can just contact Cacao and say, I want to have a show of my art, and we can set it up for you. It's really nice. It's really cool to get to do it with students too, because it gives you the experience of getting to set up like a gallery and getting to kind of like help people with that sort of stuff, which is really fun. So yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a great resume builder and a great learning experience too.
Yeah, no, it's really fun. I really like arranging things for the gallery. I I don't think I want to go into museum studies. I think I want to go into making art, but I do really like putting things up in the gallery and getting to choose like where they go, and yeah, the lighting, that sort of stuff. That's really interesting to me.
Yeah, well, as an artist, you'll be doing plenty of that with your own work when you get into shows and you have to install stuff.
Yeah.
So that's really great. There's also, artists sometimes will form collectives and they'll all sort of pitch into a gallery space. So it sounds like kind of a similar format that you're doing right now, and that's
Yeah.
a great resource to be aware of once you leave college, and you can join a group collective and all kind of like share the responsibilities of the gallery and plan the shows and stuff like that.
Yeah, no, that sounds really nice.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here and for sharing your MakerSpace experience and helping us get to know you a little better. And thank you also for doing the Basics of Photography webinar that we did this week.
Of course.
So got some really great reviews from that, and that should be posted on the website very soon. And so we are signing off now, and stay tuned for more interviews with our MakerSpace technicians. Thanks, Jocelyn.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.